understood, if you are true and intelligent, your corollary has to be the right within a limited sphere. Though it may not be wise overall, but in the limited sphere of application of their minds, they draw the right conclusions. So his conclusion here, subject to this limited application, was right, that if you consider morality to be a valid instrument for the implementation of communism in the communist countries, you will not stop there. Because morality has a very deep relationship with God and you will be led to God. So he poo-pooed the idea and put his foot down that no morality should be applied. With the result that pleading of morality was also right. Because no system can run effectively and honestly and truly without a moral code. So communism in Russia started taking different directions and it went awry. It completely lost its orientation. And this is why the Chinese started dubbing them as revisionists. What happened in China is also a relevant question, relevant chapter to this question. Mao Zedong, on the other hand, although he was not less intelligent than Lenin was, but perhaps more intelligent in some ways, he has a wider vision. He insisted on morality. And he said, without morality, no system can run, so I must introduce morality. Now, when he talked of morality, he couldn't invent morality. Morality can't be invented. He had to delve deep into the sources of Confucianism. And whatever he says of morality, he has borrowed from Confucianism and from nowhere else. So he was right too, but not entirely. Also Lenin was right partly. The result was that more he stressed on morality, more minds were turned towards God. And ultimately he found to his disappointment, and he was in fact panic driven to note this fact, that the communists, being communist, although they were more honest with their system and implemented communism more honestly and diligently in their country during his time, they started turning to religion and started talking of Confucianism. And they said, why not wed our communism with religion and believe in both things, because they knew all this moral talk was not coming from Mao Zedong, but a much wiser, older religious leader had said the same things. So he solved this question, this dilemma, by making alternate currents. Every few years you find in Mao Zedong's time stresses on morality and war against Confucianism. You see, this was his answer to the dilemma he faced. So it's so surprising to find why suddenly he thinks of going into war with Confucianism and does it at a very large scale. Because there he knew that morality can't live by itself without generating the concept of God. Because originally it comes from him. And that did not suit him. So he wanted to eat his cake and also have it and run away with it. So to a degree he got succeeded as well, but not entirely. That morality has left Chinese communism with a very deep impact, so that they are no longer entirely scientific socialists anymore. Religious ideas and human concepts are taking birth, being generated here and there. And this is why the latest policy of the Chinese regime here is basically different from the concept of communism as translated in Russia. And again, this is why Russians call them revisionists. So both allege each other to be revisionist, and both are partly right and both are partly wrong there. So morality is a subject which can't be discussed in a simple statement like the one made by the questioner. It's an issue of much wider application and much deeper application in subjectivity as well as objectivity. In subjectivity, one has to sink deeper into human psychology and find out the sources and why morality is there and how much is there, it is there to be found. And in objectivity, one has to widen one's field of study this question, studying morality in China, in Europe, in other places of the world, in Africa, and finding out whether it is built on one single pattern, or coherent pattern, parallel pattern, or it is divergent with each other. The concept is, completely disunited and irrelevant to each other. And also, we have to go deeper into history of mankind and history of the concepts of morality. One thing which can be demonstrated easily here, which I have been demonstrating to my Christian friends when I was a student here at the University of London, was that although the concept of cleanliness in the West is much more strictly implemented, but the cleanliness and hygiene are about, confused with each other here. And there is another concept of cleanliness which is born out of religious morality, which is not found here at all. So I used to demonstrate to my friends that you owe so much to religion that whatever your religion has not taught you, even 1,000 years of civilization have not taught you either. You can't invent it yourself. But the Muslims, though hygienically, are much, much below you in status, in application of hygienic values and cleanliness. But whatever they were taught 1400 years ago, they follow it still in part, and wherever they follow it, they are far advanced than you are today. For instance, washing yourself after going to urination. When you go for the call of nature, Islam told the followers, religiously speaking, that your moral code is that you should wash yourself. And this was not told to the Christian civilization by Christianity in so many words. So whatever civilization the civilization achieved, they could not yet discover the supremacy of this conduct, excellence of this conduct, with the result that they didn't do it. Even up to now, they would clean themselves with a dry piece of paper or things, and they would think it is enough. It is not enough. It is filthy according to religious concept of morality, I mean. And also hygienically it can be proved that this is a bad habit. It can cause into gradual filthiness of your clothes and bad smelling and collection of bacteria and all that. And also one doesn't feel clean once one has known the habit of washing oneself. One can't fall back to this simple, rudimentary habit of cleaning oneself with a cloth or with something else. So there are other things which I used to demonstrate to them, which came to us as a religious code of morality. And they are practiced in the most, elementary societies of the Muslim world, where the economic standards are also just rock bottom, and they can't fall beyond that. Still the people are cleaner because they wash their mouth 5 times a day, and this morality of washing oneself and appearing in public, in so many ways, as Islam tells, not when you are filthy according to Islamic standards, is also practiced in the poorest society as well.